Well, hello, good afternoon. This is Iyabo at CoachIyabo.com. So today is day 22 of the Go Live every day on Facebook. I am so proud of myself for doing this thing. Isn't that amazing? So, how are you? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Wave at me, send me some love. Um, I need to tell you, I'm trying to do something here. Hi, faithful Edna. We've been talking about emotional intelligence and leadership, right? And emotional intelligence has five components. We're talking about the decision making component of emotional intelligence, and it includes problem solving, which we discussed yesterday. And there are two other components. I'm grabbing my textbook here real fast. Uh, Impulse control, which we can talk about tomorrow, and also the other component is why am I missing? Problem solving, impulse control, and reality testing. Sorry, that was the one I couldn't remember. So those are three components. But when it comes to problem solving, what occurred to me yesterday when it comes to decision making, what occurred to me yesterday when I was discussing problem solving was that I should insert into this series of little lectures we're doing the issue of conflict. So let's look at certain terminology. There's conflict management, right, where conflict is active. And as we do this, I want you to think about conflict in your life and how conflict shows up. Conflict shows up for every human being. Every human being, every day there's conflict somewhere, right? It's part of this mystery of life and living together and moving forward together. So when it comes to conflict, there's conflict management, which is trying to contain the conflict to keep it from becoming destructive. So there's a level of conflict that just lives there all the time as conflict management, and you're just keeping the lid on it, right? There's conflict resolution, right? Which is where you try to end or diminish the conflict by negotiating a solution that addresses the needs of all parties. And this is what most conflict teaching tries to teach people how to do. However, today I want to introduce you to a new concept. I'm sure it's new for you. It sure was new for me. My favorite aspect of going to seminary at Emory University was ethics. Really wrestling with ethical issues and what is ethical and how do you get to this ethical conclusion. And one of the classes I took in ethics was conflict transformation, which is the third conflict. So we talked about conflict management, conflict resolution, and now conflict transformation. Conflict transformation tries to engage the conflict constructively, and it sees conflict as a potential catalyst for change. Edna, you said you call conflict management a form of false peace. Edna, you have never said anything truer. There's false peace and there's real peace. Conflict management and and some of conflict resolution is conflict. I lost my train of thought. Conflict, I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry. Conflict resolution is false peace. Conflict management is false peace. Some aspects of conflict resolution is false. But peace, right? Peace is actually a very aggressive thing. When Jesus in the Bible says Jesus came to bring peace, it's aggressive. Like you have to work at peace and you have to protect peace. So let me introduce you to John Paul Lederach. John Paul Lederach was a peace builder. He's a peace builder. So when I talk about peace building, I want you to think of things like Rwanda, where the Hutus and the Tutsis were living together, some killed the other people, and there was all this war, and then they now had to share the same land. And I think our country is ripe for looking at peace building in the rest of the world, because peace building, as has happened in other places, needs to now happen on this American soil, right? So when we talk about conflict transformation, I'm going to drop this huge definition on you, and we can unpack it at a different time. Lederach, John Paul Lederach, this peace builder, says conflict transformation is to envision and to respond to the ebb and flow of social conflict as life-giving opportunities for creating constructive change processes that reduce violence, increase justice in direct interaction and social structures, and respond to real life problems in human relationships. And I read that definition slowly because I want you to write it down and paste it somewhere and think about it when you're going. Is to envision and respond to the ebb and flow of social conflict as life-giving opportunities for creating constructive change processes that reduce violence, increase justice in direct interaction and social structures, and respond to real life problems in human relationships. So that's what I want you to focus on, okay, as we talk about this definition. And when we talk about conflict styles, there are 4 types: accommodation, collaboration, avoidance, and competition. Compromise is halfway, and these definitions vary as to whether you put the relationship is what matters or the goal is what matters, which again is what we focus on in leadership development. Is it the task, the goal, or the relationship? So these definitions that I've given you around conflict today, what I want you to do, what I'm inviting you to do today, is to begin to view conflict as something positive and healthy. So when conflict comes up, too many of us are conflict avoidant, where we don't even want to talk about conflict. We don't want to agree that there's conflict. Yet, if conflict is as simple as, I want Chinese for dinner, you want Mexican, that could become a thing of conflict, because it could become, oh, we always go for Chinese and you always get what you want and I never get what I want, when the real issue in that conflict is that a person is feeling unseen and unheard. And what do we need to do to make this person feel unseen and unheard? And so these two people, what do we need to do to make this person feel seen and heard? And so these two people now come together to put the relationship between them as something worthwhile and sacred and a good thing, and this goal of, look, we got to eat dinner and be lovey-dovey too. And so conflict can now become this incredible tool that opens up dimensions of the relationship that were not there before. And so for me, I know one of the areas I struggle with is, if you come at me with anger, my brain shuts down. And one of the areas in emotional intelligence that I'm really flexing my muscle with these days is to just look at you with compassion and hear what you're not saying. Anger is just a voice. It's just a facade. What is behind the anger? What is it that you really want? What is the source of this frustration? How can I help you get there? And this is a key tool for me as a coach. So today, my other invitation to you is, if you're stuck in a conflict, right, and you need some compassion around the conflict, if you need coaching to work through how to resolve conflict, and what is this conflict really telling you about yourself, and how can this conflict become a life-giving opportunity, I invite you to drop me a line, and I invite you to reach out to me, and let's have a 100% confidential session on this, and let me coach you through that. I love working with people on conflict, okay? So look at you. Stanley, one of my big brothers in seminary, Great stuff. I live with my spouse, and our interaction is like two continents resolving type. It usually is for male and female. Like, I don't really believe we need to treat men and women differently, but a lot of times there is that truth of opposites attract. And if we can begin to put our egos down and our sense of self-will down to say, I'm attracted to someone who's a little opposite than me, and that way the two of you now begin to say, okay, how can we help each other heal these voids in ourselves, right? Not fix each other. There's a difference between fixing each other and helping each other heal and being partners on the journey to healing. I hope that was helpful, Stanley. I'm so grateful you stopped by. Peace to you, big brother. Hugs, hugs, hugs. My big seminary brother. I'm probably older than him, but he was old. He was ahead of me in seminary. Peace to you and your family. Much love. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Peace and grace. Iyabo out. Bye.